All right, everyone. Happy Saturday. King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon here with you on a day that has been filled with some sunshine for some and then also quite a bit of rain. We've had one particular band that has been slipping its way southward, and that's going to be the one that's really creating all the action. And that will keep with us here at least into the very first parts of the night. Afterwards, things are drying out. We're going to warm up here for a large part of the upcoming week. Could be talking about some 70s ahead for us, too. We'll get into that here in just a bit. First, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on with our satellite imagery. And you can see everything heading southward. Those clouds and everything making their way on off towards the south right now across more the central parts of Puget Sound. And that cloud deck right there that you see, that's going to be the one really responsible for the majority of the rain that's going to be connected with some of the shower activity we'll see. We also have some convergence zone activity, kind of hard to see. We'll show you that on radar here in just a bit. But with that being the case, Storm Prediction Center has brought a chance, at least, of seeing a few thunderstorms out there. And some of us have actually been seeing that here throughout the afternoon and on into the first part of our evening. But once we lose that daytime heating, we start to lose a lot of the shower activity. We will lose the dynamics for all of this to happen. And I think things do quiet down once we head on into a lot of the nighttime hours. And then by tomorrow, gradual clearing. We'll see some sunshine out there, highs at least finding their way back into the 60s, and then we're well into the 60s as we head on into the first part of the work week, approaching 70 by the time we head into the middle part of the week, and then cooling down a little bit, but still staying closer to average by next Friday and heading into next Saturday. Here's a look at Stevens Pass. We've been keeping an eye out for things up this way. There is a winter weather advisory in effect until 8 o'clock Sunday morning. So we've been seeing some snowflakes. You can tell, though, not a lot of that really sticking and reducing much in terms of accumulating snowfall there. Now, higher up into elevation here around Paradise, closer to 5,500 feet, we have been seeing this sticking. And yes, we are still going to continue to see that here as we go throughout the night. Wanted to show you a few different spots, though. Granite Falls, more sunshine here, more sunshine seen here around Everett as well. And then as you head farther south around SCA, looking there at the airport, a lot of clouds and rain. Again, everything is making its way southward, while up here at the city itself, not really seeing a whole lot of action. We're actually beginning to dry out here for, it looks like, the rest of the evening. Temperatures right now holding pretty steady in the low 50s, and with that west wind coming in at about 13 miles per hour. It's still a little chilly out there. We'll drop down into the 40s as we go throughout the night, and then tomorrow morning starting off with clouds, but I think more sunshine is coming late morning and through the afternoon. You can see where the rain-cooled air is farther south from Bremerton, Tacoma, down around Puyallup and Olympia, where most of those temperatures right now are in the upper 40s to low 50s. While you go farther north, we've seen a little more sunshine, northwest interior. That's where we have a lot more of those upper 50s approaching 60. Now, here's a look at radar. Did tell you that we do have shower and storm action here across the entire state, and you can see it's pretty much lighting up across the entire state. Nothing too widespread, but this way right here, as we look into this particular band that is near and heading now south of Seattle proper, that's helping to reduce some of the heavier showers that we're seeing around Tukwila, Burien, heading closer to around Federal Way, Kent, Auburn, all the way down to Fife and Tacoma, too. And that's going to be with us for the first part of our evening here into Saturday into the first part of our night. And then things really start to clear out and dry out as all of that moves its way on out of here. Now, the advisories here for the winter weather still with us until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, maybe an additional few inches possible, but I think it's definitely going to be less than 6 inches for many of us, unless, again, you're higher than that 4,000-foot range. If you're up around more Paradise or maybe Mount Baker, they probably could see a little more getting closer to that 6-inch mark here as we head on into the night. But most of the moisture really just cutting off as we get past sunset hour and then into the start of the day for tomorrow. And then we'll continue to see, it looks like, things remaining relatively quiet for the next couple of days. Higher terrain still across maybe more of the higher tops of the Cascades and the Olympics could produce a few showers there as we get some flare-up activity with that daytime heating and instability, but larger part, we're really drying out for the next week or so for many locations. Again, the higher terrain is where we're going to have that chance of maybe seeing a few pop-up showers here as we go not only into Sunday, but possibly into Monday as well. And as far as the amounts of rain to come along with that and what we're seeing here in more of the lowlands, this is all coming into this evening. So down around Tacoma and Puyallup, about a 1/10 up to maybe a 1/3 of an inch. Outside of there, it's going to be really hard to get any sort of accumulated rainfall here for the next few days. And as far as the snow, we'll keep some of the higher amounts down that way around Paradise, where we do have the higher terrain there. Even those amounts that you see coming in from Stevens Pass, Snoqualmie Pass, and Crystal Mountain, it's going to be really hard to do so to get those numbers. So don't get too excited, and really don't be too worried, I guess, if you're driving across the state there. Here's a look at the upper air pattern and how things will set up for us. Now, the darker greens, some of the blues, that's where we have troughs of low pressure. That one heading eastward. We have this orange really beginning to build back into the region, and that's a ridge. When we talk about ridging, we're talking about usually sinking air, which sinking air kind of suppresses some of that cloud development, brings us more sunshine, and we're talking about a warmer pattern at that point too. And that's what is beginning to happen here as we head on into next work week. We're not going to be right at the center of that ridge, so we're not going to see extremely warm temperatures, but we'll get this flow that'll help us to start to bring back a bit of more sunshine. And since we are going to be on the outside periphery of it, you can see with that flow, there's still a little more of that ocean air that's coming into parts of western Washington. So still air conditioned to a certain degree, but it's not going to be the cooler air mass that we've been dealing with here for the past few days. Again, seeing a lot of those highs closer to the mid and upper 60s, even some low 70s, which is much closer to average here for this time of the year, as opposed to the low to mid 50s and even 40s we've been seeing for the past couple of days. For tonight, overnight lows dropping down into the 30s there in Shelton, 45 in Bellingham, 43 in Everett, and dropping down to 40 in Puyallup. Here are your highs for Sunday. 63 in Bellingham, low 60s up that way around Orcas Island. Oak Harbor coming in at 59 degrees. 64 in Arlington, Linwood up to 62. Mid 60s around Redmond, Bremerton 65 degrees. Des Moines in the mid 60s, and we'll see more of the mid 60s down this way around Belfair, Puyallup, and around Yelm. Eatonville at 62, over towards Tenino, reaching a high of 66. And your 7-day forecast, once we're done with the rain here this evening into Saturday night, it's going to be a while before we see any sort of widespread chances again. A pop-up shower, especially across more of the higher terrain, for tomorrow and Monday will be possible. And we'll keep an eye out for a few weak disturbances that are showing up on the models here later on into the week. Really just producing cloud coverage mainly for us, but not really seeing a good chance of rain coming in from any of those disturbances here as we head on into that time. Okay, everyone, well, try to enjoy the sunnier part of our weekend as we head into Sunday. And something I didn't mention too, the low tides. Those are still with us. We saw them today. If you got out there and enjoyed them and was able to get out there towards that sea life, again, we'll have more opportunities Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and possibly into Wednesday. So definitely be careful and walk easily and very quietly, and also too at the same time make sure that you're being very gentle with that sea life that might be out there. Okay, everyone, take care. Have a great Saturday night. We'll talk to you soon.